Good morning, America. We're going to town today. Going to town. Got to get some stuff. My poor paw is still not well. He'd been pajama man in it for about a week. He got sick around the same time as me. We had this new modified sickness with the one sign that everyone tends to agree is that this thing warps the taste of food and the smell of things. As for myself, I'm very sleepy. I'm having a very difficult time waking up today. Not entirely sure why. But I've been listening to this David Hatcher Childress book about the world grid. That's some live shit. That is a live ass book. Not only does it cover a lot of the things that I still don't fully have understood about the ley line grid system, it has some very crazy information from Manhattan, the Manhattan Project. Yes. Navy soldiers disappearing. A little of this, a little of that. Pretty fascinating stuff. I go back and forth from being antisocial to being not antisocial, just desiring and craving other human companionship. And I don't necessarily know why that is. I don't necessarily know. It's been a long time since I had a lady friend, and I wonder about that sometimes if that's it. But I really don't need to have someone like that. I'd have to really want to be partnered with somebody to even go through the bullshit required to successfully do that. People are just too vain. They're too superficial. They're not very smart. Women have pretty much gotten to where most of them, not all of them, but if they can't get enough money out of their man, they're not interested in them. They don't care what they think. So it's almost like, you know, the marriage relationship has evolved into some higher form of prostitution or something like that between the man and the woman. So it's really devolved. It isn't. And I suffer from this languishing form of missing the person that I married because of my spiritual beliefs in marriage and stuff like that. I would have really liked to try to have worked it out, communicated. I sure as hell don't like the state of things as they are, which is basically just rubble. My life is rubble for what it used to be. I don't get to talk to my kids. I actually did get a little bit of communication this Christmas, but that person, without there being something to get from me, they just totally disappeared. Once they got whatever they got from child support, no care about me, no care about my dad. I still check in on their their people just to see if they're okay, and I still pray for them on my own time. I can't fully wrap my mind around evil people or fully material people. I can understand it, but at the end of the day, when it's time to set everything aside, my mind doesn't fathom it. Wearing my crown, trying to keep my in order, and it really helps. The minute I stick this thing on my head, I get I get a rush. And it's helpful because, like, on days like this where it's very difficult to move around and get moving, there's nothing wrong with me other than being slightly middle-aged man overweight. My brain works. There's some things that I forget that I can't remember. It's usually in altered states, so that's my own fault, but I don't have periods of time where I just completely black the fuck out. I'm not an alcoholic, so I don't drink. I smoke a fair bit of weed, but it keeps me in a pretty good disposition. It keeps me pretty chipper. I like psychedelic substances, but I don't really have any interaction with them. I'm not dropping acid or taking mushrooms or eating DMT, but I've got a lot of experience in that stuff. We're supposed to head out of here at 9 o'clock. My dad, like myself, with the long hair that we have, it's been getting really tangly and messed up during the time that we've had the head fever. And the last thing you want to do is brush long hair when you've got a headache or a head fever. It's just miserable trying to get it untangled. You can get in the water and put conditioner in it and brush it out and get it vaguely straight. But it is like an antenna. It's like having an antenna hooked to your head. You pick up all kinds of shit you don't when you have short hair. Short haired people live in a completely different world. And they really do, because I've had all my hair shaved off before. So I can speak to this and know that it is true. You don't have a lot of you just don't have that as an antenna. And it seems to work as an antenna, your hair, you know, to basically your immediate environment. I won't say aliens. Maybe if you're like the Thule Society and you've got those really long haired blonde women, they're sexy as hell. Like what was that lady's name? The Nazi lady. But she wasn't even really a Nazi, but they sort of took her over and took her ship because she was contacting someone that made a craft and wanted to take her to Aldebaran. Um, everyone recognizes this lady's face when you see it, but I can't think of her name at the top of my mind. She was in the Thule Society. We have to come to terms with Nazis have taken over America. They're not the same Nazis, but effectively they might as well be, because ever since we brought those scientists over for Project Paperclip, we've let ourselves get infiltrated with Nazi thinking, Nazi government structure, Nazi tactics, and it's pretty much a Nazi government that we have in control now. It's just like if you look back up in the history of the Democrats, they used to be the KKK, and for that to be the the main party for black people, just goes to show you how disconnected our ability to examine history is. All of us, not just black people, all of us. Can a party change? Yeah, a party can change, but I mean, can they fundamentally also stay the same? Racist, hateful, and basically trying to um, keep power by the ignorancing of the lessers. That's the name of the game. That's what it is. And although I've got conservative values, I don't consider myself a Republican, but I'll most likely vote for them. And really, probably subscribe more to being an anarchist, because I don't think there's anyone whose rules should rule over me unless I'm in a specific agreement with that structure. And the structure doesn't represent me. Do you feel like the government represents you? Do you feel like you have a voice? It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. In fact, you probably should say no, because unless you're for just massively continuing warfare and massively doing fucked up shit on the large scale, $10 million to Pakistani gender studies? What the fuck? I mean, come on. The shit they have in the budget is so ridiculous and so not in alignment with the majority of people's wishes that it's just insane. And if I had $10 million, what I could do, I could do all kinds of shit, and they just throw our money away, and they give it to people that just come over, give them all this stuff, because they really are trying to replace citizens and people that have paid in on taxes and have a stake in the country. They want to replace those people that they have an accountability towards with people that are just basically illegal, don't want to have any focus on them because they could be in possible trouble, because to come over here illegally, you've already broken the law, so you're not really a legitimate citizen. That's not to say that you shouldn't care about people and them making a better life for themselves, because obviously you should. But the way that it's going, with the agendas that are going on, and I believe that they ship those kids all over the world that they've been shipping at nighttime to different places. I think they do, because I think that the current ruling class predates upon children. I really do. And it's clear to see if you really look, but most people don't want to look, and they don't want to know the stuff's going on, and they want to say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, because you're thinking something that's just a little. Our ride's here, Whopper.